they'd only just moved here, but I just sort of said, why aren't you using the NutriSoil? And they just hadn't had someone to spray it out. So I was like, well, I'll get spraying straight away. And probably within 12 months, we'd stopped using those drenches, and I haven't used them since in sort of 15 years. So, and I just thought there's no need to anymore, because the animals are healthy. They're not dying. Yeah. So that was a real big eye opener for me, and then the preferential grazing. Any paddock I'd spray NutriSoil in, the animals would just beeline to. And sometimes it was hard to get them out of there. You'd kick them out and they'd break back in, and you couldn't work out why. But apart from that, you'd sprayed that paddock recently, and and even when it was bare, they'd still go back in there. I'm like, it's bare. What are you going back in there for? But so that was a few things that I noticed. But that animal health, real big thing. Yeah.
The Biological Farming Roundtable podcast helps farmers explore innovative, low-input, regenerative and profitable farming systems. The Biological Farming Roundtable is sponsored by NutriSoil, an award-winning biological liquid fertiliser made from a big worm farm. NutriSoil's purpose is to empower farmers to produce life-enriching food. My name is Nakala Maddock. I work at NutriSoil. I envisage a future where farmers are rewarded for producing nutrient-rich foods and consumers have this easily available to them. Hello everyone, Nakala Maddock here from NutriSoil. Today I'm here with David Hardwick from Soil Land Food, agroecologist.
G'day everyone.
David is co-hosting with me. And today we are interviewing the dashingly handsome Darren Maddock. I can say that because Darren is my husband. And we're interviewing Darren about life as a worm farmer at NutriSoil. So Darren, I'll open the first question. Can you share with us what inspired you to join the NutriSoil worm family business?
It was certainly a build-up of life experiences, probably starting back in high school as a dairy farmer. I studied agriculture and geography in school. They taught us a few interesting things about sustainable agriculture and permaculture, and we had some interesting teachers with some radical ideas which aren't radical anymore, but back in the early 80s they certainly were. So I took quite an interest in the ethics of ethical farming, I suppose you'd say, and the environment. So I was interested in animal health, soil health particularly, and I was particularly against chemicals. So for just a natural thing, but obviously there seemed to be a need for it. But I was still not comfortable with it. I'm still not, but back in the day I was, yeah. So from there,
way back when you're really at home in the farm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So your old man was running the farm. You were helping him, and
Yep.
he started to dabble in making some worm products or having a worm farm on the dairy.
Yes, that's
where it sort of started.
That's where it started. We did certainly a lot of waste to manage on the dairy farm particularly. They always used to run a piggery as well back in the day. But so yeah, it was these effluent ponds and this at times this runoff and that, and there was a lot of fecal matter to sort of manage.
Yep.
There's other words for it, but and they could see the benefits of it, of the waste, but it was how to manage it, and coming across, I suppose, some alternative ideas at places like the Seymour field days.
Yep.
They might be called the alternative field days or whatever, but a long time ago, sort of mid-90s, they sort of come across a few ideas to deal with this waste, and the vermiculture was, or the worm farming, compost worm farming, that was where it sort of started, I guess, with the Maddocks out at Yakandana, or Graham particularly, and Graham and my mum Lynn.
So you were around then helping them out on the farm, and then slowly that worm business was growing in terms of not just using it for the home farm, but Graham started to go out and try and people would approach him maybe to buy some local farmers. Is that how it sort of started to grow?
That's kind of how it started to grow. I think initially Dad was just trying to get other farms set up to manage their own waste with the worms.
With the worm farm,
so he did a lot of that for years, sort of setting up
other people's systems.
But they did find it's almost a full-time job.
It's another enterprise, basically.
Yeah, it became that. It became people hadn't got time to manage it properly. So there was quite a high sort of failure rate with these sort of systems they were setting up, which was disappointing. But it was just the realisation that it does take
to do it well. You got to put
really focused effort. They kind of look after themselves. Worm farmers will look after themselves to a degree, but it can also fail very, very quickly if you
don't keep an eye on it.
If you don't manage it correctly.
So that's where the whole term vermiculture recycling system came from. Yeah, that's how Graham introduced it to me, a vermiculture recycling system.
Yep, it's a great term. Yeah.
So what was your role as you started to help out in the worm farm side? Because you were milking cows.
Yeah.
Shifting fecal matter?
Yes. Initially, it was a sort of a standalone product project for Dad. Like, it was just kind of something that he was dabbling with or dabbling in. But as he got bigger and bigger, because he'd sort of started from small boxes in the shed and sort of just following what the worms are doing and what they were reacting to and what they enjoyed eating and where they thrived and where they died pretty much, and where they sort of and the worms they'll eat anything that was once living. So he wasn't feeding them poison or anything, but sometimes if you're feeding too much of a good thing, you can just kill the whole system. So and he was just always looking for support and just to help. So whether it was just helping out with some feeding, helping out with some sort of setup ideas. There's all sorts of prototype kind of setups.
Work out how to arrange the beds and
even before that, just in the sheds, just little boxes and then bigger boxes and then timber boxes and foam boxes, and then little sort of metre sort of long beds in the veggie gardens. And he started doing small ones like that, which gave a bit of a microcosm of a larger system. And then he went from there into the sort of larger windrows. And suddenly we all started jumping on machines. And suddenly, to a degree, it became a little bit easier as far as you could do so much more with the machines, so much more bulk, and you could start bringing in waste in bulk. And
so where were you starting to bring stuff in from, like food waste or other manures, or what was the?
Other manures, particularly pig, chook, and always cow manure. But the pig and the chook was certainly the higher nitrogen, but the higher volatility as well. So they had to they were just worm killers really. Until they
get mixed in
till they were properly sort of composted, I guess. So the chook manure could take a couple of years. Pig manure might be as long, but yeah. So they were challenging.
Calm them down a bit.
Yeah. So they were too much for the worms to handle fresh. So yeah.
So in the meantime, you're also like playing music around that time.
Yeah.
So you went off and spread your wings a bit and went around playing music.
Yeah.
After you sort of left school for a bit.
That's right. Yeah, I studied environmental science. I began a course in environmental science, which which continued my interest in that sort of I suppose environmental sort of farming sort of area. So I was certainly interested back in the day. I didn't finish the course, but yeah, it was certainly something that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
And yeah, always from an early age, I was always passionate about the music as well. So I sort of just as we're getting out of milking cows, I was playing a lot of sort of live music, and it was it's becoming challenging, sort of getting up early, milking cows a lot. So
Coming home late.
I was coming home late and sort of
Getting up early.
being rostered on the next morning, whatever. But yeah, the family was kind enough to work around us where we needed to. So a lot of support from dad's brothers and cousins, and yeah.
So kind of the business grew. Everything moved down here to near Wodonga here from the farm, and obviously you came back into the business to help out.
That's correct. Yeah.
And your old man was still kind of steering the ship, I guess, for a fair few years. But you came in and started to help him run the production side of it as a worm farmer.
Yes. Yeah.
At a serious scale now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was around about 2010. Sort of, we spent some time travelling with a young child, and then we moved back from the north back around 2010, and I just sort of, I suppose, shadowed Dad, I guess, as far as just followed him around a lot. And
So you can't go to ag college to do worm farming, like they don't have a diploma in worm farming as such.
not that I know of.
Yeah.
You could certainly learn some good terms if you went there.
Yeah.
You'd learn all the big words, but
But the practical skills, just sort of following him around, learning on the job.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It really takes a few years to sort of get a feel and a handle on sort of how the system sort of flows. And there's different systems. We've got our particular larger scale windrow worm bed sort of setup, with capturing the liquid as well, which not all worm farms would capture liquid, but yeah.
So you, what's it like? You've worked dairying and beef cattle a bit, and then now we're managing worms. I'm assuming the basics of whether it's worms or dairy cows or beef cows or sheep or chooks or pigs is pretty much similar. It's about the right environment, air, water, and nutrition is critical.
Yep.
And that's at the heart of the job, is keeping them well fed and in a happy place. Is that, in a nutshell? It's pretty similar to other types of livestock.
It really is. Vastly different as far as the actual materials and everything, but even the processes, but the same principles, same basic principles, yeah.
So you're managing a lot of worms here, so they go through a fair bit of food. So what are we talking here, like a semi-load a month of tucker, or?
Yeah, probably quite a few semi-loads. You could say 100 tonne a month.
Yep, right.
So
just to keep them all fed.
That's right, yeah.
No rotational grazing out on the pastures. It's all got to come in for these guys. Yeah. And what's the sort of feed quality? Like, what's the key, the core of making sure they're well fed? What's the balance of food you've got to be mindful of?
Look, we know the worms love the sort of carbon sort of based materials. They love the housing.
Yeah.
So whether it's in your backyard, people are going to be using newspapers or cardboard.
Yeah.
But
shred them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we like to use sort of good, clean wheat straw mostly, or different straws, but mostly wheat straws are sort of the best for us. And pasture hays and that sort of thing is good as well. But they like the fibrous wheat straws.
Yeah, right. So if you're home and you've got like the shredder to shred the paper in the office, that stuff's all right. That'll work.
No, definitely for the home.
Yeah.
The can of worms sort of system or the backyard sort of system.
So they get their carbs and good clean carbohydrates. And what about the protein and micronutrients and all their the key requirements?
Yeah, we get sort of vegetable and fish wastes and even some paunch from some abattoirs and that, which is actually quite a good product, and not it's a large waste product, so it's can't do a lot with it, but it works well in a vermiculture system to mix some of it in.
Yep. So you guys have a blending trailer where you feed blender, where you blend it all up, feed mixer?
That's right, yeah. We've got a few good hard stands here where we can sort of store oily materials.
Yep.
There's a variety of materials we need to sort of pre-compost, so we'll use the oldest materials first. So the way we store it is just making sure that the fresh stuff gets enough sort of quarantine time to pre-compost. And
and you got some rock phosphate. What else goes in? Humic acid. Seaweed.
Yep.
That kind of thing. Just give them their chilies and spices.
And we've got some brands and that we can add as well, which is nice. And some other minerals and
so do you get seasonal changes? Like we're coming into summer now and it's pretty warm. It's already warming up. But that compared to winter, what's the behaviour of the worms through the year?
Yeah, they tend to go a bit deeper through the hotter times. They're not as
active in their feeding. Is it at that time of year?
They are, but they tend to be a bit harder to find in the
because they're staying a bit lower down.
And maybe they feed a lot more overnight, and rather than that sort of
coming out
beating sun sort of So
do you get any fence jumpers that want to jump from one windrow to another, and you got to cull them out, or?
Yeah, when things are really wet, you see them on the move. Like half of them end up on Mum's veranda. But,
a good horror movie would get nice to film, like worms coming at you across like thousands of worms.
Yes.
Invading your house.
Yeah.
They don't tend to go anywhere, do they?
They don't. The compost worms, they don't go into the soil. People sort of think they'll disappear into the soil, but
they like living in that high organic matter.
That's correct,
Yeah.
So if you've got soils with high organic matter, you might see some more compost worms in there, but in the first few inches. But
otherwise they're soil earthworms. So So what sort of numbers of earthworms have you got, like per cubic metre, or even just a sort of bucket full? What sort of number of earthworms are you
I think that's on the back of the sheet there, is it?
Changes so much,
we
doesn't
haven't,
it?
counted.
We've done a few worm counts. Remember we did that shovel worm count? And we counted, I think we counted 600 in a shovel. And I said to Graham, how many do you think in the shovel? And he wasn't involved in it at all. And he went, about 600. And I was like, you know.
You got it, yeah. There's a lot of shovels in a windrow. So there's a hell of a lot of worms,
Yeah, so these worm beds are typically 50 metres long, 3 metres wide, at least 1 metre high. So there's a lot of surface area, a lot of cubic meterage of worm bed, worm bed material, and and the fecal matter is so clean because the worms, it's the castings, so the worms have
processed it. They've done the job on it
completely. The worms and all their associated microbes have completely cleaned.
So the bed's their kind of home. It's kind of like a windrow, which is like a bed of worms and castings is their home, and you feed them. Like, is there after a few years, do you have to kind of do a full renovation on a bed, or do you kind of just run out of puff, or you go, no, we've got to kind of renovate it at this point? How does that sort of work?
Yeah, look, they can last for 10 years or they can last for 2 years, but sometimes it depends on the surface where you start. You might find you've hit a bit of a springy area and you haven't realised, and then things start to deteriorate if you haven't got that ground sort of right. Other times, you can get blockages. That's for the liquid sort of systems. We need the liquid to be flowing, not getting sort of blocked up and draining at the sides. Going anaerobic. So there's times if a bed is not functioning well for a period of time, we'll just eventually bite the bullet and just redo.
Yep.
Just pull the whole thing up and just start again. Yeah.
Yep.
You try and avoid that, but sometimes you just have to. Yeah.
Otherwise, if you manage it well, you can get at least 10 years out of a bed.
Well, you can, yeah. And there's a variety of different ways of setting it up, but we haven't found one sort of foolproof way yet. But we keep trying different drainage systems, and there's
always on the improve. Always trying to improve it.
Yeah.
So you feed them regularly, like every couple of weeks, or every week they get a dose of food across the top.
Yeah, probably every sort of 3 or 4 weeks. But
they're getting a dose of food, then they're getting watered, and they get irrigated or watered the beds with clean water, but also with the reticulated worm wash.
Yep.
So it's a mixture of the two going into the top of them.
Yeah. When we've got a large collection of recycled liquid, we can sort of do quite a lot of reticulating that back through the system. Or other times if we're a bit lower, then we sort of call on we've got well water or dam water, or the rainwater is the absolute best. But when things are dry from the sky,
those backup sources. So it's a fine balance between too much water in the bed and not enough. Like that's obviously a bit of a sweet spot that you've got to always keep.
It is, yeah. There's always talk of sort of 60 to 80% moisture, but that can change. You sometimes can't control it with it being out. We've set up out in the open, so we're out in the elements. So
so it's up and down anyway with the heavy rainfall events, and it's been a challenging couple of years with the wet.
Oh look, it has been challenging. We've had sort of runoff coming off the paddocks out in the front because they're a bit elevated, so they're running into our worm beds and at the worst of it. So that's not very helpful. But that just all gets collected, and we've got a lot of storage now. So we've probably got 1.5 million litres of where we can store liquid, because otherwise it runs down the road. So we've invested in sort of large tanks to be able to capture all the liquid that sort of flows through the beds.
Recently, you've there's basically a big book on all of the manifolds and how everything works and where the liquid goes. Tell us about that.
What would you like to know? Just how many hundreds of valves and...
So it's a pretty complex plumbing system.
It would be if you didn't have the manual.
Yeah.
And that's what you found, like when you had, Graham setting it up, and then Graham may not have been well at the time, and then Darren was trying to work it out. Like, it's like, wow, where are all these? So we really embarked on that.
There's probably thousands of metres of pipes, and you've got...
set plan.
And you've got valves and taps and pumps and lots of tanks.
But you've got an offsider in the team that helps you out with that.
Yeah, we've got Rob, who's a master of
all things
plumbing.
All
things, really, yeah.
But a qualified plumber.
Yeah,
we really needed.
Yeah, qualified plumber, and he set up the system so as it's just so as it flows. Pardon the pun, but so as the production sort of...
The shit flows, basically.
Yeah. Just...
you don't need to shovel it anymore, it just flows.
Well, more so the liquids and that, but so the plumbing setup is just really streamlined. It's all sort of centralised, so we can control pretty much everything from one central pump shed location. So we can sort of go in there and decide what we want to move where, but we need to go through the manual, and it will tell you which valve to turn on, which they're all marked and labelled, which pump to turn on. So if you follow the manual, you'll get it right. If you try and guess, you may fail. So
and that can have big consequences for the worms if you don't get it right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Around
you-
stock, sometimes you'll see
Yeah.
firm liquid might have gone into the truck or something,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad thing. It's actually a probiotic, but we don't sell it like that because we haven't had that tested. Yeah. So the day in the life, I guess, you know, you come to work, you're a worm farmer.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like a dairy farm, or it's a bit later.
I mean, I know you are a cattle and a sheep farmer as well, and my horses, thank you. But, you know, what do you do day in the life? Just step us through Monday morning.
4 a.m. bell goes. Cows have got to be milked. No, earthworms have got to be looked at. 10 a.m. I'll get there at 10 o'clock.
We're nearly milking them, aren't we?
Yeah.
In a natural way.
Yeah. No, milk them for all they're worth. No. Yeah, so if it's a feeding week, yeah, we'll just prepare the worm beds for feeding. So we'll remove hoses, watering sort of hoses. We'll get feeds ready to process together. So we'll just be getting our straw and our hay and our other additives out. We've got tanks of fish and tanks of liquid seaweed, different things we've got to get out and get prepared to add to the mix. So yeah, we'll start mixing up this feed and spreading it out onto the worm beds.
There's a lot of monitoring going on, like you're always keeping your eyes on the beds quite closely to see how the worms are going. They respond on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, with sort of the comprehensive QA program we've established, that we're sort of monitoring weekly. We also monitor daily, just having a look really. But
to do formal monitoring and then just constantly keeping an eye on things on top of that.
Yeah. Rob's taken over this sort of QA area, so he's sort of measuring temperature and worm health and breeding sort of breeding results and that's some of the main things.
And recording all the feeds and the amounts you're putting in and the response that the worms may have. I mean, that's one of your biggest challenges, isn't it? Like, it's unpredictable. Worms can be unpredictable.
They can be, and it's usually if you're trying or experimenting with a new feed or a new waste.
They respond to that because they're quite sensitive, because they've built up a microbiome on the feed you're giving them, and then all of a sudden you throw that out, like giving a cow something quite different in its room, and it's got to take time to adjust, I guess.
Yeah, so it happens regularly, but we don't always have a guaranteed set of wastes that we can call on. So sometimes there's variations, and sometimes you've got to compromise, not in a bad way, but just you've got to be willing to try different materials, try different wastes. So that can definitely have an effect.
So how have you seen, like obviously I've been sort of involved with you guys looking in from the outside a bit for about 10 years nearly. And it's obviously grown a lot. It's, you're building the business. You're tightening up procedures and things as you have to do when you grow and you've got more team in there.
Yep.
And at the heart of it though is this worm liquid, and you obviously got a strong focus on the quality of that liquid. So you can still see, despite the growing and the procedures and larger scale, we're still at the heart, it's all about that high quality liquid coming out at the end of the day. Yeah. Keeping the worms happy at whatever scale you're at. So you feel you're still on that target, you're still achieving that goal of a really high quality worm liquid product.
Yeah, definitely. Not a lot changes, as in the feeds we're feeding them are sort of high quality, and the process haven't changed a lot. So
still getting that same consistent product.
Yeah.
That you started
More
on.
the testing is changing really. And Darren's probably not as involved in the testing, more the monitoring and the production side. Then it goes over to your research and development of testing.
So apart from the liquid, obviously castings, there's a bit of a market for castings these days.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So you guys are harvesting castings from beds too, and you've got beds that are set up more for harvesting castings than liquids?
That's correct, yeah. In the last 12 months, we've established last probably 2 years really, but we've established quite a large system of castings only beds. Yeah. So
Yeah. So what's the difference in managing a bed for castings as opposed to your liquids?
it's really much the same. We probably don't need to water as much. Generally, the worms can provide almost enough moisture, apart from those really hot, dry times. We would just keep enough moisture in the beds to sort of so that they're happy.
And those, how many years before you'd kind of fully harvest them, or do you just take castings and let them keep going, or how's it sort of run?
Yeah, look, it's optional. You can sort of do like you say, just take a part out, or you can move all the worms to a new location and take all the castings away, which we did last season. But
the demand for casting-based products is growing, is it, in the business?
It really is. Yeah. I guess we're just working between bulk and sort of smaller amounts, as in what's sort of suiting most people, I guess. But
we've had challenges, I guess, with the castings in the screening. So when people would purchase it, it was just compromised by rocks, or they'd find twine, and it was just, it was not something that we were comfortable in sending out, because we never get complaints, and we were getting complaints. So we never advertised it. It wasn't on our website. And then we got a screener. We got the 10 mil screener, and we were like, yes, this is fantastic. Still, we're getting rocks. So then we had to go down to 3 and a 5 mil screener, and that's really and screening straight into a bag. So especially the extract people, they really need that fine, using a toe and foot, need that fine castings. But if you're spreading it bulk, going through the 10 mil screener is fine. You know, the rocks, you quite like putting the rocks out when you're aerating.
And they're rocks, they're tiny, they're only sort of...
10 mil.
Gravel, small gravel.
Yeah, and there's also wood chips in it, so, you know, home for the fungi and things like that. So Darren would prefer to put that.
Yeah, if I was broadcasting it onto property, I'd be using the 10 mil, which is, even the stuff that's unscreened is okay, but occasionally you'll get a lump or something, which it's not very much. A few bigger stones, but not...
Yeah, they look worse than they are. They're just because you notice them, but they're actually a small proportion of it, and they can.
That's exactly right. But
it's our human intervention. You know, we want it to be perfect. We want it to be flawless, and that's just not, you know, how nature works. But the 3 mil is certainly wonderful for these filters that you have to go through.
So coming back to your day in the worm farm, so obviously you've got feeding weeks, and then you've just got maintenance and, you know, keeping an eye on everything weeks and improving things. But like, can you knock off and take a week off, or you got to be there 24/7? Someone has to be there checking on them every day, pretty much, or every second day through the year. Is that a fair comment, or? You can walk away for a week. And...
No, we can go at Christmas time and sort of happily leave them for a week. As in, we just make sure they're fed and moisture.
Been fed and watered. And you're happy to leave them.
And you could go away for 2 or 3 weeks.
You even have an automated system with an app, and you can just check on it and water them as needed. But so you can give them, you can have a bit of a break from it.
Definitely, no, certainly, because they do look after themselves to a certain degree, but they will get hungry, and
they keep eating and reproducing.
You talked about some products that may kill worms, or, you know, if they get hungry, like what things can go wrong in the health of those worms, and what have you seen?
Too many potato chips.
Yeah, that's right. Probably one of the surprising things was feeding them too much seaweed a long time ago. They're
not Japanese, obviously.
They didn't appreciate that. It was a long time ago, but I guess
they don't live in the ocean, do they?
So certainly smaller amounts was much more sort of palatable for them.
What did you notice? Did they just ball up and die, or they just didn't reproduce?
They'll ball up and die when you have those heating issues, which is kind of a lack of oxygen, and you get the anaerobic microbes sort of
The heat builds up in the...
Yeah, they cause that. They cause this feeding frenzy, which is friction, and that's the heat that's involved in and that's where the worms will come into the feed and then find that it's way too hot, and they just ball up and die.
And when you say ball up, are they actually in a ball together?
Pretty much, yeah, like
huddled together, looking for help from each
like
other.
a,
It sounds awful.
like a cricket ball, yeah.
I wonder why they do that.
Cricket ball or a small paddy melon or something, they just clump together. It's probably too late by then.
Yeah.
You can
never get to that point.
Well, you can try and separate them and hope they survive, but it's too late.
Gone past the point, yeah.
So you just and that can happen in pockets, but or it can happen wide stream. Like it can happen. You could kill a lot in 2 days if you allowed that. So you got to aerate. You got to be mindful of what materials you're mixing. Because whatever you mix together, there's going to be a reaction. So
and not give them too much food at once.
Yeah. That chokes out their oxygen as well, and the processes that are going on are new and
throws that bed's in equilibrium, and you don't want to throw it out too much.
So
if you feed too thick, it just smothers them.
Well, you've just got to aerate it, yeah. So the thicker you feed it, the more you need to aerate it. And if you're feeding materials that are very sort of porous, like as in clumpy and open, a lot of straw, there's a lot more air. If you feed a really fine
the density can be too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it can really just seal over a real fine feed. So you try and so less processed, I suppose. Yeah. So there's lots of air pockets. In the feed.
The wood chips and the rocks.
Yeah. Oh, what am I about rocks? But
all little rocks. So that's the joy of having a big worm system, isn't it? They can move away from the heat and they can move away from the heat of the sun as well as the heat of the feed.
Yep.
If they don't like something.
Yeah, if you're lucky, yeah. Otherwise, it's too late. It's generally too late. But so if you accidentally set it up to fail, that's what sort of happens. So it's it's.
So are you a member of a worm farming industry? Like, is there a worm farming industry where worm farmers get together, like all the regeners are getting together and having forums and field days and workshops? What about worm farmers? Do they get together?
Oh, we just sit at the back of their groups. We just
righto. So you guys aren't having your own field days. But there's a few. I mean, the industry's growing in terms of regen ag and biologically based agronomy and all this kind of thing. So obviously the demand for worm-based products is growing, and
absolutely.
You guys have grown, and you've been in it for a long time. This whole alternative ag, whatever label we want to give it at any point in time. But where do you see it headed, Darren? Like, do you see it's sort of continuing to get more broad appeal, and people are using worms as part of their programs more and more?
Or potentially the waste is growing as well. So for Australia to deal with its waste, sort of.
There's millions of tonnes of food waste that need to be dealt with. You've got food factories here in Albury-Wodonga that have lots of waste products.
Yeah.
Manufacture foods. And
we've got some on the shelf over here, actually.
Yep.
That
so it's a really good way to turn agricultural biomass, I'm not going to call it waste, but food biomass, agricultural biomass into really positive products.
Absolutely.
And it seems that that farmers and graziers are changing to more biologically based approaches to things. So worm is a bit of a fit into that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way you build carbon and healthy soil is just by, being a big biodigester, really. So we're speeding up that process and getting those recycled things just biodigesting. That's how the whole world runs, really.
Yeah, and we're kind of mimicking that, what happens in the paddock, where you got your earthworms in the paddock, getting what what organic material they can, and then turning that into castings, building your topsoil. So we're just kind of mimicking that process in a
controlled environment. Yeah.
Controlled environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So using the products on your farm, you've used them most of your farming life. How do you use them, and what results do you get? Are you ever, do you use other things? Tell us about your farming methods.
haven't. It's been a long time since I've used, apart from a little bit of blackberry spray. Haven't used anything else for sort of as long as I can remember. But so the last sort of 12, 15 years, just been using the NutriSoil and the castings. Yeah, so we were able to broadcast the castings with a belt spreader.
You get mates rates from NutriSoil or not?
Yeah, well, it's NutriSoil property, so
And do you add lime sometimes with it, or?
not generally, no. But one of the first things I did notice was that the stock health, I guess, and the preferential grazing. But we had a lot of issues with selenium and zinc and selenium deficiency here, or iodine deficiency, I think, was with the sheep. So there was quite a lot of deaths happening. That was
When you first moved to this?
when we first moved to this property, yeah. So Mum was drenching with added selenium and iodine drenches and things like that. And they'd only just moved here, but I just sort of said, why aren't you using a NutriSoil? And they just hadn't had someone to spray it out. So I was like, well, I'll get spraying straight away. And probably within 12 months, we'd stopped using those drenches, and I haven't used them since in sort of 15 years. So, and I just thought there's no need to anymore, because the animals are healthy. They're not dying.
Yeah.
So that was a real big eye opener for me, and then the preferential grazing. Any paddock I'd spray NutriSoil in, the animals would just V-line to, and sometimes it was hard to get them out of there. You'd kick them out and they'd break back in, and you couldn't work out why. But apart from that, you'd sprayed that paddock recently, and and even when it was bare, they'd still go back in there. I'm like, it's bare. What are you going back in there for? But so that was a few things that I noticed, but that animal health, real big thing,
So when you were a young fella, did you see your future as being a worm farmer, or did you see it in your possible?
I probably didn't know that existed when I was younger, but I was always interested in farming, definitely, and some sort of more of a natural approach, I guess.
Just got animals that don't have they're invertebrates rather than animals. They've got no legs and no eyes, but they still got the same challenges.
Yeah.
But it probably comes from your parents, just healthy upbringing.
Yep.
They were quite involved in like USANA, which is
vitamins
and any type of health type of product. Yeah.
All sorts of things like that. Yeah.
Minimal chemical.
Your green sort of juices, the barley, the wheat juices and
all that. Yeah.
It was and all the natural things we got off the farm, the milks and we probably didn't make yogurt as much, but we used to eat a lot. We used to buy a lot from the dairy factory, but
So I mean, a lot of people probably know me or Rochelle or Justin from NutriSoil, but you're definitely the introvert out there.
Or not out there.
Not out there. the one in the corner. Tell us a little bit about you. Not many people know Darren Maddock. What?
Well, don't know. I suppose I've got a big heart for a lot of things. Big heart for the planet, and very passionate about my music.
Yoga
pretty good
recently. Good skier, yeah.
Good skier, well, yeah.
Well, you can get from top to bottom.
I can
without
get from top
falling
to
over
bottom,
and soaking
yeah,
ice, so I'll
on the
put
slopes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like me. I've always loved me sport, football and tennis, and but yeah, it's been for me the last 35 years has been a lot of music. Yeah, always sort of playing in bands and weekends and on my own, and guitar and singing and a whole bunch of other instruments and writing a lot of music sort of in the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And strangely, a lot of songs I've written are kind of leaning towards sort of natural type lyrics, sort of even sort of not so much farming. I'm not singing about farming, but just sort of natural ways of life. It just seems to come out. You go to write a song and suddenly you find yourself singing about the earth or, you know, the sunshine or nature.
Carly Simon, Neil Young sort of stuff.
Wow.
Without the psychedelics.
Maybe. It's just, it's like, why is this stuff coming out? And it just comes, it just flows out naturally and you can't stop it.
Probably what makes songwriting effective when it's just coming out from you naturally. So
So
blame it on the worms, mate. Blame it on the worms.
Blame It on the Worms, it's a good song, what else? We've got our lovely little hobby farm and family and amazing wife and life. Very thankful for my life and what's been provided for me. I've got a Christian faith as well,
So working in the family farm, you know, with the family, being an introvert, what sort of challenges do you come up with family dynamics in a family business?
I think for me, it's sort of hard to be heard sometimes. I don't have the loudest megaphone like some people do, but I eventually worm my way in there. Pardon the pun. So it's just you bide your time, I suppose, or to try and
make sure your voice is heard in the family decision.
Try and feel relevant or try and feel involved, included. And if you can't do it by being the loudest in the room, you just find other ways to sort of be in the mix.
They're challenging. When you have a family, also running a business together, there's always challenges in it. But you guys have done really well in NutriSoil, so
With your help too, David, I might say.
Just a small help on the side, but it's been interesting. Great to hear about the farming side of the worms, because everyone gets the liquid and the marketing and the agronomy and the field days, but it's just getting an insight into what's going on behind the scenes. It's a massive job. How many semis a month are going out of food? Be quite a few.
Out or in?
Out, being fed to the worms. Yeah,
well, I guess it's that 100 tonne a month, which I suppose
a couple of semi-loads of food.
Maybe 3 or 4.
No, it's a lot of work.
The
whole thing function and get good products at the end.
And sourcing them from different places.
No, there's a hell of a lot to it.
So where do you see the future of NutriSoil going, like the production of the worms and the setup and?
We've got expansion plans basically in place. We're ready for another considerable expansion. So it's just when to pull the trigger, whether it's in the next 12 months or the next 2 years, but that'll be when we're ready financially, I guess, and when there's that extra demand. But so that expansion for me is more about quality than quantity. So it's about just building a larger pool of microbes to draw from. So more worms, more microbes, Yeah, not so much more liquid, just more quality.
Well, we are growing, you know, just with the industry, the biological regenerative industry is growing.
Yep.
Sustainability in general is growing. So you do need to make more as well.
No, that's part of it. That's part of it. But so yeah, I'm certainly keen to get that expansion in place sooner than later, just to be that one step ahead. If there is other mini booms, and you just never know when that there could be more demand.
And if someone wanted to make their own worm farm on farm, what advice would you give them?
Top 3 things.
Yeah.
Home worm farms. Top 3 things.
Yeah, well, it depends if they want just a casting sort of base system, which most people might prefer that. But yeah, look, it's you need the waste, you need the materials. You can't really grow your own feed to feed your worms, enough worms. So you need to have sort of close by sort of waste streams to sort of draw on. Most places do, but sometimes you'd have to go a long way to get enough feed to sort of keep that system up and running. Water is going to be important if you're in a very dry area, if you don't have enough.
And not town water, preferably.
Well, yeah, you can't really guarantee what's in the town water, but yeah, obviously if it's treated water, it's probably going to it's going to destroy a certain amount of your microbes. Might not kill the worms, but it might sort of destroy a certain, it can affect the composting process with treated water, whether it's fluorides or whatever else they put in the waters. But yeah, so what else? Food, water. Yeah, most farmers are going to have machines, so they're going to have machines that can adapt to build a system. Yeah.
I guess what you said right at the beginning of the talk about Chad was, you know, when you're on the farm, you and your old man, and you were doing it, and there was a lot of, you were helping other farmers, your father was going around helping other farmers set up, and not a lot of them got over the line, and it's because of that commitment to making it work and allocating the time, because it is an enterprise and you got to take it seriously. So being committed to...
So that's probably the third thing is the knowledge, know-how, commitment.
The willingness to get in there and make it work and spend the time monitoring them and learning. And,
And if you've got a large family, then that helps. If you've got some kids that can help.
Talking about kids' labour, right.
Well, no, I'm just like
That's a good high school job for kids at high school.
Yeah, they can jump on the tractor and feed the worms or whatever. But So it's not all down to just one farmer trying to manage 5,000 or 10,000 acres and animals and crops and
worms as well.
So.
Well, I think that's been a wonderful conversation. Not a side that we hear a lot from you, from the person that actually makes the product.
Go behind the scenes at NutriSoil, not just getting Nakala smiling at you all the time.
I'm normally out there trying to find out everything so that I can actually spread the word, but it's great to have you, talking us through. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Biological Farming Roundtable podcast. Before we part ways, I would love to give you a sneak peek of one of Darren's many original songs. It's called Testing Times. We hope you enjoy.
Drains our cups, rise it open so you can see. We're always wild, join the